How we doing, everybody? Ready to talk some comics? Woo! So these are the books I've read this week, and we're going to start with DC since I only have uno, and then we'll go into Marvel, and then we'll go into Independent, and then we'll go into Kickstarter. Okay, so here's where we're at so far. We're going to start with Green Lantern, written by my friend Jeremy Adams. And so this is number 2. And he kind of got screwed here because there's a event. Of course, DC does not know how to not do events. There has to be an event every 2 months or they're just not happy. So they're like, what's the next event that we can have? Well, we have to have all of our superheroes at the same time take a big shit. Then the big shit turns into a big monster piece of shit. And then it goes through everybody's titles. So we have 10 different issues of everybody getting shit on by the big shit monster. And that we have a thing, and I'm not even really exaggerating because we have a thing called Night Terrors with a K coming in. And it's disrupting the whole Marvel universe right now, and I think everybody's kind of over it. They used to do events like maybe once a year. Now it's once a quarter. Like I said, eventually they'll just be event, and you won't have a regular book. It'll just be a series of events. We just finished Lazarus Planet. That was crap. And now we have Night Terrors, of which I am getting like issue 1, and that's it. That's it. I'm not doing any of the things. I don't really care anymore. I don't think anybody else does either. So that's my little rant there. But meanwhile, Jeremy basically had to do 2 filler issues. So nothing really happens in this book. And nothing really happened in the last book because he's getting interrupted with this event coming up. So he couldn't really go anywhere with it. He wasn't going to start something and then not go further, but he won't even remember what the hell happened after a few months. So anyway, Hal is still trying to get back with Carol. Of course, after the last issue, she kind of demoted him. And in one day, they're showing what kind of charisma he has. In one day, he put himself up the ranks to the point where he became her pilot. And meanwhile, she's like engaged to somebody else, so it's a little bit of a love triangle there. And her fiance or whatever else is not going to know what hits him, kind of thing. Where he's eventually going to get Carol back. And of course, we have Kilowog that's kind of hanging out as I don't know if it's a trailer or whatever he's living in. But anyway, so I kind of just give this. I love Jeremy, but this probably is 6 because nothing happens. It's not his fault, but nothing happens. So he writes the characters well, but we just have no idea of what's going on at this point because nothing's going on. So we'll see what happens after the event, and we'll see if we get an actual story. All right, so then we have a Moon Knight number 24. This is not a book I normally collect. Once in a while, I pick it up. I missed the Tigra one where she and Tigra were together. And he's just having a bunch of visions throughout this entire book is just having visions. And I think he says that Morpheus is the one causing it. And he kind of knows that. And he's kind of looking for him through these visions that are popping up. And there's even a cell of him and Tigra doing the pose of Jean Grey and Scott during the Phoenix Saga. They're on the side of the cliff kind of thing. I thought that was kind of a neat little Easter egg. But for the most part, very forgettable issue. He finally finds Morpheus at the end, and Morpheus is dying. So, not much going on here either. Again, very forgettable. And in 25, they're going to do a big anniversary issue. So let's see what happens with that. Okay, so we're just going to continue with the Marvel, but so far I have 2 books that I can't even recommend to you. So Doctor Strange. So this has, how many pages Doctor Strange is in this book? Let's take a guess. How about 0? Oh, no, I lie. He's in the last page with Clea, and he doesn't have any lines. He's just sitting there on the couch with her. So literally this entire book is about Wong and Wand. Say that 100 times fast. So Wand is the division of S.H.I.E.L.D. that deals with magic. Okay, so it's him and this other girl going through all these missions, and they're discussing how they're going to develop Wand, and where they're going to go with it. How they were going to conduct their investigations, and Wand wants to do. I mean, Wong wants. I'm saying Wand, even though it's Wong, it sounds like Wand. Way too much W's in there. So Wong has his own ideas of being traditional in their investigations, and she says, "Great, because Clea Strange is our, number one suspect. So we're supposed to be dun dun dun." Yeah, you know what I'm doing with this book, and it's unfortunate because when Jed MacKay was writing, and Jed MacKay wrote both of these books, by the way. Jed MacKay wrote Moon Knight and wrote this one. So not happy with him this month at all. When we was writing Strange, where Clea was Sorcerer Supreme or Sorceress Supreme, I really liked that. I thought that was really good. And here, it's just crap. It's just crap. I mean, I looked online, and some of the reviews for this were good. I can't imagine. So you know what I'm doing with this book? The title, I'm dropping it. I already dropped it. I don't care what happens. I'm done with it. Too bad. Okay, so now we're into Doctor Strange. I stuck Strange in my head. Darth Vader. So we have Dr. Aphra. That's where I get the doctor from. Dr. Aphra, who I dropped. She has her own title, and I dropped that. Alyssa Wong was writing it, and they keep these people on the titles too long. So what happens is they start out okay, and then they just run out of ideas, and it's kind of a hamster spinning in a wheel. They have no idea where else to go with this. They have no fresh ideas for the character anymore, and they just go and go and go, and you're spending $4 or $5 a book for this thing, and there's nothing to it. And so the whole last story arc for Dr. Aphra, I didn't like at all. And it was it revolved around the whole Crimson Sun thing and the whole bit, but it was crap. And so I dropped it, and now she shows up in Darth Vader. I think because of the fact that the Dr. Aphra book is doing so poorly, that they had to give it a rejuvenation, and they put her in Darth Vader. So here we start out with her playing cards, and all of a sudden she's playing cards against Ochi, who's a bounty hunter for Vader. He's kind of goofy, all right? In fact, his mask kind of looks like a dog. I don't know. It does. It looks like a dog's head. But she realizes that he's working for Vader, and she tries to run out even though she won all the pots and everything like that. So she tries to escape, and of course she bumps right into Vader, and Vader is having a problem with his powers. Okay, I don't understand any of it. It makes no sense that he's lost his control. He's overpowered now, which makes no sense either because Darth Vader's always been overpowered. But he can't control his force powers. It's like literally ripping things apart. I missed the last thing with all of the Sabe, and I kind of liked all that, where Padme's handmaidens all got together to try to kill Vader, and now we've kind of moved on from that. I don't think we really got a closure for that, so I kind of missed that. But so now we're into this, and Dr. Aphra's like, no, I can help you, and don't kill me. She's literally begging, don't kill me. I can still help you. So he wants her to find an artifact because she's like a female Indiana Jones and Darth Vader in Star Wars. I mean, so she's like an archaeological, which is kind of an interesting idea to have, a person that digs around for relics, because we know that the Sith and the Jedi all have their own relics, and her, that's her whole thing, is that she looks for these things and then tries to sell them. So she's kind of like. She's a treasure hunter. I don't know how else to say it, but that's pretty much what she is. Of course, she's a gay treasure hunter on top of that, so we have to make that a big deal whenever Alyssa Wong gets a hold of it. So now we're she tells him, look, I'm going to bring the murder droids back, which is like the evil R2-D2 and C-3PO, which I really like those characters, actually. I think those characters are fun. The C-3PO one likes to torture humans and has all the torture things in his fingers and everything. So that's kind of cool. So I think we're going to go somewhere on there. But anyway, so they get to the point of I thought this was kind of funny. They get to the point where they're entering, I want to say, the tomb. Okay, it's like, it's like Tomb Raider. And it's a hole in the ground. And she's like, oh, there's going to be a whole lot of traps down there. She says, but she looks over at Ochi. And Ochi's like, I'm not going down there. And she's like, well, I can't go down there because if I get hurt, I'm the only one who knows how to do some of the things down there. And so Vader literally pushes him down the hole. So, of course, there's a whole bunch of traps. And he's like, and he's getting shot. And he's dodging. And so when everything's all clear, they come down and, he's pulling darts out of himself and all this other stuff. It was pretty funny. So at the end, there's a whole bunch of robots that show up, and Vader gets the relic he was looking for and tries to hit Afra with it, with some kind of an energy blast from it, but she shielded herself from it, and it bounces back and hits Ochi. So it's almost like, he's the humorous guy right now. He's the one that, he's the coyote that keeps getting beat up. So I enjoyed parts of this thing, so we'll see where it goes, but I've been enjoying this one. Then I'm going to be sad for this one because this is Venom Lethal Protector, and as I've said before, I don't collect any Spider-Man stuff whatsoever, and right now I'm collecting two. I'm collecting Red Goblin and Venom. And this has one issue left and it's over. It was a miniseries. And I'm confused because the last issue, I know he got into the limo with Vader. But his friend was captured and I thought he was linking up with Silver Sable to help him. And all of a sudden that's been off the table. So I don't know what happened there. I feel like I missed something. But this whole issue was with him dealing with Doom. And Doom is written pretty well here. I got this book is pretty good, and because it's hard to see Doom written well, where you can threaten him all you want, but he's just going to laugh at you, and that's kind of how this is. Venom, who towers over him, threatens him, and he's just like whatever. Then he tries to grab him. Literally, Doom grabs his wrist like it's no big deal. But supposedly Doom's mom is in hell. Why we're dealing with two of these kinds of characters and we're dealing with something supernatural is kind of weird. But anyway, that's where we're going with this. But he needs Venom's help, and he kind of screwed up. I don't know why Venom and Eddie Brock is trusting Doom. That's the one thing you don't do. You don't ever trust Doom because he'll tell you one thing. So he's kind of like the devil. He'll tell you one thing, and you may think it's the greatest thing in the world, but he's going to backstab you somehow. He won't break his word, but he's going to backstab you somehow because he's thought of something that you haven't thought of. So he can't hear. He can control the symbiote, but he can't hear the voice anymore. And which is something that Doom did to him. So now he's pissed off, and he says, "No, I'm gonna make you have longevity, blah blah blah." And he suckers him in again. Eddie's got to be the stupidest guy in the world. So he got suckered twice in the same book. So when he wakes up, he doesn't have the symbiote at all. And I got to show you the artwork here. So, because I'm going to ruin this for you. I don't know if you're collecting it or not. But if you're collecting it, then fast forward a little bit. But is this the one? Yeah. So this is the page. So Doom is now wearing the symbiote. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I don't know how they're going to wrap this up in one issue. But again, Eddie's the stupidest guy in the world. Apparently, I needed to get as many emails as possible during this video. See, that's my phone is like R2-D2. It just likes to beep all day long. So now we're going to talk about Captain Marvel number 50. So I've collected Kelly Thompson's run from 1 to 50. I have no breaks. I have them all. Well, I don't have them all because I sold them. I read them all. I'll put it that way. I read them all. Again, it started out okay. And why she wasn't off this book 25 issues ago, I have no idea. But they just kept her going, even though the sales were atrocious. But they kept her going, kept it going. And it never changed. Why they have to have a female writer on a female book, I have no idea. But that's how it is. That's how it is in Marvel and DC right now. Although that's in Wonder Woman, at least Tom King's coming in there to write a female character. But for the most part, if you're a female, you're writing a female character. If you're black, you're writing a black character. It's crazy. So anyway, she's been on this book forever and too long. And she's going to be moving to Birds of Prey. I know a lot of people are excited about this. She kind of turned this into Birds of Prey anyway. There was a whole female group that she surrounded herself with. So 90% of the characters in this book were all female. I believe that Hawkeye was in part of it in one issue. Doctor Strange made an appearance, one issue. Gambit was in the whole thing with the Brood. And the men are written extremely poorly. It's basically a female-centric book. And I was getting kind of tired of it by the end, So they're always telling that's the only thing Kelly Thompson knows how to write. Oh, you're the bestest. Oh, you're the bestest. Oh, you are the bestest. That's all they say to each other. They just stroke themselves off throughout almost every story. So Binary, she created Binary out of herself, which is a former name that she was Binary at one time. So Captain Marvel, Carol, was originally Miss Marvel, right? And Rogue, who was a villain at the time, put her in a coma and stole her powers. And then eventually she came out of the coma, but it was years later, and took back over the Miss Marvel mantle. And then we got Captain Marvel after that. And she's been Captain Marvel ever since because she took over Marvel. So now we have Captain Marvel. But again, she's been Captain Marvel for a long time. Obviously, the movie's been out for years too. But anyway, so this is the final issue. And if I'm right, and it's 30 pages. So it's $5 on top of that. So it's an oversized issue. If I have a final issue of something, I'm going balls to the wall, man. I am going to tell whatever story I want to tell. I'm just going out with a bang. Nope. Not Kelly. Kelly's playing it extremely safe. All we have throughout the entire issue is a party. That's her big idea, and this is why she should have been pulled off this thing a long time ago. Her biggest idea for a final 50th issue is a party. How exciting is that? So, and where everybody can tell her how great she is. That's the entire book. You're the bestest. You're the bestest. You're the bestest. Throughout the entire thing, here's a party. Here's a party. Bestest, bestest, bestest. That's all it is. And Tony joins in on that. Tony Stark. She goes up to the roof to get away from everybody. She's dating Rhodey, which is War Machine. So at the very end, she slips into bed with him. And I think that's pretty much it. That's right. She has a meeting with Wanda in this room where Wanda can tell her she's the bestest ever. That's the entire 30 pages of you're the bestest ever. That's all this is. People hugging her. That's all this book was. She must have sat up all night deciding how she was going to say you're the bestest ever throughout an entire 30 pages. How am I going to get so much you're the bestest ever into that? And she just flies off at the end, and that's the extent of it. So, what the hell? I don't understand these writers. They have the most opportunity in all the world, and they throw it away. So anyway, that's thank God it's over. I can say thank God, because she was going nowhere with it. And now they have Alyssa Wong taking over with a new costume that looks like a band leader. And on top of that, Anna Sente is also writing a thing with Captain Marvel. So she can't sell a book the character cannot sell a book. It's always down in the dumps. And they have two different writers coming on to her. And Anna Senti, as far as I'm concerned, destroyed Storm and hers. There's no way I'm touching either one of those books. I like the character, but they can't ever get her right. They can't do anything with her. So, of course, I'm collecting Avengers that has her in it, but that's it. So as far as I'm concerned, Captain Marvel's dead to me, except for Avengers. So that's the end of Marvel. So I think Darth Vader and Venom Lethal Protector 2 were the only books I enjoyed out of all the ones I read there. Sad. Just sad. So now we're into Star Trek. It was written by Mark Guggenheim. And it's good to see the old characters back in this. So instead of them going to the Mirror universe, the Mirror universe came to them. So we have an Uhura that is looking for, or hunting, I should say, an evil version of Chekhov. And Chekhov has this weapon of mass destruction that they need to get back, except he went across the neutral zone and got picked up by Romulans. So he's they don't. It's funny that his name is Acarus or something like that. So his name isn't even Chekhov, which is weird. So he's making a deal with the Romulans to keep himself alive. He's going to give them the weapon, or at least teasing that. Meanwhile, Kirk decides that he's going to have the other Uhura take them prisoner and get on a shuttle and cross the neutral zone so that they can get captured by the Romulans. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. And he's really betting on all these people's lives that they won't get shot out of the sky. And I don't think Kirk would ever do that. He would not bet, he would bet his own life, but he would not bet everybody's life. So he has like Chekhov's on the crew, the other Uhura, the regular Uhura. I forgot who else is on there, but he's got some of his own crew on there. Oh, I think Sulu's on there too. And so the other people hide inside the shuttle. And of course they pulled like a Star Wars thing where they come out and beat them all up. And they even, in fact, the Romulans even say, there's other life signs on the shuttle. And he's like, oh no, your things are screwed up. They're not. No, where could they be hiding? Anyway, so they're in the to Uhura, who changes clothes with the Mirror Uhura. If that sounds confusing already. They get sent to the brig, right? And she's like, oh, is this part of the plan? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, who's to say this isn't part of the plan? Uhura doesn't know the plan? She took you hostage as part of the plan to go into the brig, but you didn't tell her the plan? What? And then we have this big firefight, and Chekhov gets hit, and I don't know. I'm kind of losing faith in this one too. Unfortunate. So, whatever. A lot of dialogue in that one. I mean, you're reading a lot of dialogue. As the most of it's all dialogue. It's just crazy how much dialogue they put in that. So, Mike Spiderslayer hit me up on Comic Book Day, right before I went to the comic shop, and said, "Did you pick up Void Rivals?" And I said, "No, I wasn't planning on it." And it's by Skybound. If you don't know that symbol, then you've never seen The Walking Dead. So Void Rivals is created by Robert Kirkman, and who has also wrote and created The Walking Dead comic. Okay, so he finished it. So Walking Dead comic is over, and so now Skybound produced this thing that he also wrote. And of course they have a deal with Valhalla and all that stuff as well. So he hit me up through DM and he said, definitely pick it up and make it the first thing that you read before it gets ruined for you. Meaning somebody spoils it. So I went to the comic shop and there was somebody there from Skybound, because of course Skybound is here in LA. And he said, did they get ruined for you yet? I said, no, nobody's told me anything about it. So I picked it up and I went home and read it. And it's basically Enemy Mine. Okay, so it's about two guys, or it's about a guy and a girl who are wearing helmets that are in a battle together, and they crash on this planet. A planet they apparently can breathe on. So they decide that they're going to work together. They beat each other up first. Then they decide they're going to work together. Or else they're not going to be able to get off the planet. Enemy Mine. That's exactly what that is. So they're looking around, and this is where the big reveal is that nobody's supposed to ruin for me or anybody else. So it's been out for long enough. If it hasn't been ruined already, then it's something you're living under a rock. As far as comics are concerned, if you're not a comic person, then you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about anyway. But so so they find this ship like half buried, and they kind of mess with it, and all of a sudden it moves and it turns into a transformer. And the transformer says, "Where am I? What?" And he just flies off. He doesn't ask them if they have someplace, if they were looking for transportation. They don't know it. He didn't ask them nothing. He's just like, I got to get out of here. Bye. And takes off. I thought that was the weirdest thing ever. So the big reveal is that, IDW originally had Transformers and G.I. Joe from Hasbro. So the big reveal is that now Skybound and Image have those two. And they stuck really great writers onto them. So everybody is extremely excited about Transformers and G.I. Joe coming into a whole new publisher with a whole new direction and stuff like that. So exciting stuff. I'm excited because I think that Valhalla, now with this whole deal, might, and there's more emails. I got to get, it's freaking midnight here and I'm just getting emails like galore. I think that Valhalla with Skybound is going to get involved with the Hasbro universe. That's what I think. Because there's that deal, and why wouldn't Hasbro get involved with Valhalla? So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited to finally get maybe some good G.I. Joe stuff, because Transformers, I'm not really a huge Transformers fan, but I'm a big G.I. Joe fan. So, all right, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, now we're into Kickstarter. This is the final one. And so this is exactly what I'm talking about with Kickstarters. Okay, so I have no idea what I paid for this, but chances are I paid probably $15 for this book, and you don't really know what you're getting until it comes in. So you see maybe a page or two. So it starts out with this character here having sex with an alien. We know nothing about this character, but she's having sex with an alien in the first page, and that continues for a couple more pages. Then we go into a big fight scene where she's fighting a big monster and these green Martians. Then she goes in and gets the Martian Queen and has the Martian Queen disrobe so she's naked. And then she shoots her in the head and takes her throne. That's the entire book. 20 pages. There's nothing to this. There's just nothing here. So this was one of the ones that came in and I could have just trashed. It's not even worth looking at again. So that's the kind of Kickstarters that I have to warn people about. The printing's good, the artwork's okay, but there's no story, just zero. We don't care about any character development. We don't care about setting up a villain. We just care about having sex and action, and that's it. So anyway, that was my thing this week. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys are collecting any of these books, and what do you guys think what's going to happen with Captain Marvel. What do you think about continuing Dr. Aphra and Vader? Are you sad about Lethal Protector ending? As I am. All right, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching all the way through. And sorry for going on my rants every once in a while. but help me get my channel monetized. So yeah, so by liking and sharing and all that YouTube stuff helps the algorithm go up. And again, if you haven't got your copy of Destiny Aurora, then definitely I'll link the thing below. But there's plenty of spaceship action in there. We have plenty of aliens. We have a mystery that has a good twist in it. So, and I'm sure there is a couple of spoiler videos out there about the twist, but and then Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. Also, these came out really nice, and I'm fulfilling the Kickstarter right now, so I'm able to get copies out if you order them as well. All right, this is my first fantasy novel, and I think it came out pretty well, and I'm going to have to work on that. Plus, in other news, Lords of LA, I'm getting the last 2 pages of issue 3 colored right now, so I'm going to probably launch that in a couple months. And Mike Spiderslayer and I are working on a book as well right now called Razor Fox. So I'm excited about that one too. I'm having Joe do some character designs. I'm going to share those with you as well. And I think the story's turning out pretty well for that. I'm working on that, just kind of fleshing the characters out right now and having an arc for them and where the story's going to go over the next 4 issues, because I think we're going to do an arc for 4 issues. All right, and I'm going to release the Kickstarter for that one once we have at least 1 issue done for the first 2 issues. All right, which is going to be about 48 pages. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, all the Goop Tip stuff. Yes. And again, thanks for watching, guys, and thank you for supporting. Have a good one.